Okay, finishing up this last problem. I noticed here I made a mistake right here. So when I reduced here, these 2's canceled out. So these 2's should be gone. So this should really be n plus 1, like that. And so then this step is messed up. So then if I multiply 1 over n through this n plus 1, this would become 1. This would become 1 over n. And then this would become 4. So then finally, the area, when you take the limit as n approaches infinity of 5 plus 1 over n, if n approaches infinity, 1 over a very, very large number would be 0. So 5 plus 0 would be 5. That would be the area underneath this curve. Let's see if that adds up. So the area of this square would be 2 times 2, which is 4. The area of this triangle would be 1/2 the base, which is 2, times the height, which is 1. So that would be 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. So we did this correctly. Let's try one more of these just to make sure that we have it. Find the area between f of x equals 2x plus 1, the x-axis, x equals 0 and x equals 3. So again, let's draw coordinate plane. Okay, let's graph the function 2x plus 1. So I'll start at 1, go up 1 over 2. So there's the function, the x-axis, that's right there, between x equals 0 and x equals 3. X equals 3 would be here. X equals 0 would be here. So finding the area of this region here, so we've done B, we've sketched the diagram. Next, let's find delta x. Remember, this would be x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, x sub 4, and really depending on what n is, we could have an infinite number of these x subs. So if I did lower sums, we would have 1, 2, 3 rectangles. We added up those 3 rectangles there. That area would be less than the actual area. If we continue to make the width of these rectangles, which is delta x, we continue to make the width of those rectangles smaller and smaller, which we can do that as n goes to infinity, then we find the exact area. So to find this, remember that this will tell you A and B. So this is A, and this is B. So this would be 3 minus 0 over n. So this is going to be 3n. Remember, C sub I is basically telling us that we can use M sub I or big M sub I. They're going to be equal to each other when n goes to infinity. So this is going to be n times delta x, which would be I times 3n, 3 over n, which would be 3i over n. Now we are ready to solve. So the area is going to be the limit as n goes to infinity of the summation when I equals 1 to n of f of c sub I delta x. And we know that c sub I is right here, so this is going to be 3i over n, and delta x is 3n. We also know that f of x is equal to 2x plus 1. So now we can write this as the limit as n goes to infinity of the summation when I starts at 1, ends at n, and then this would be 2 times 3i over n plus 1 times 3n. Then we can multiply all of this stuff together. So the area of the limit as n approaches infinity of the summation when I is 1 to n. Now I'm going to distribute this all the way through. So this 3n times 3i over n, this would be 9i over 9 squared, or n squared, times 2, that's going to end up being 18i over n squared, plus 3n times 1 would be 3 over n. Then you can write this as two separate summations. So this first one here, we can factor out 18 over n squared, the summation when I is 1 to n, I, plus, here we can factor this out, 3 over n of the summation I equals 1 to n of 1. And then we have the limit as n approaches infinity. And this would be 18 over n squared. I, we know, is n times n plus 1 all over 2 plus 3 over n times 1 times n, so that's going to be n. And then we can simplify this. So 2 goes into 18 9 times. This n will take care of one of those n's. These n's cancel out. So now the area is going to be the limit as n approaches infinity. This would be 9 over n times n plus 1 plus 3. And we take the limit as n goes to infinity. Multiply n, 9 over n, all the way through here. So this would be 9 plus 9 over n plus 3. So then we have the limit as n approaches infinity of 12 plus 9 over n. And then when we evaluate the limit, this would go to 0, because if you have 9 over a increasingly large number, that's going to approach 0. So this would be 12 units squared. We didn't really do the label for the rest of those, but that's what we should do since it's area. Okay, I hope that helps.